Hi everyone, my name is Xingyuan, and before I begin my presentation, I'd like to give you some information about my topic today. Why did I choose jazz as my topic? In fact, I have been exposed to jazz since my undergraduate period, but I didn't play jazz music. I thought the rhythm pattern of jazz was very difficult. When I go to graduate school, when I actually play some pieces and learn some jazz rhythm patterns, I found jazz fascinating. So, what I'm going to talk to you about today is what jazz is and how some of basic elements of jazz are represented in piano music, using compositing variations as an example. I have divided my talk into three parts. Firstly, I will introduce what jazz music is. Then, I will use the piano to show off some obvious jazz elements. Finally, I will finish with some information about the use of jazz elements by modern composers. This talk should last about 10 minutes, and if you have any questions, I would be very happy to answer them at the end. So let's get started then. Jazz was born in the 19th century in the seaport city of New Orleans by African musicians. Negro slaves fused the rhythms of African music with the harmonies of European classical music. In 1917, a white band, the original Dixieland Jazz Band, recorded its first jazz record in New Orleans, giving birth to the term jazz. At the end of 19th century, a new form of musical style emerged, ragtime, in which the left hand plays a simple strum and weak beat in a low voice, and the melodic part of the right hand reorganized the rhythm, often with dance or work songs. During the Great Cultural Revolution in the United States in the 1940s and 1950s, Latin jazz was formed by mixing elements of native African rhythms with those of immigrants from Latin America. Rumba, cha-cha, samba, bossa nova, and so on are all subgenres of Latin jazz that we're familiar with today. 60s as the beginning of the civil rights movement, the emergence of new hip-hop jazz, also with exercise together to break the rules, to be free, pay more attention to improvise. It has become a worldwide music through the baptism of time. Another point worth mentioning is that there are some elements of jazz that let us quickly understand jazz music. Firstly, ragtime, the earliest form of jazz music in the United States, originating in New Orleans in the late 19th century, played primarily on piano. It has a profound influence on the style of New Orleans jazz music. In terms of rhythm, the position of his remap is different from that of the traditional downbeat. The backward shift of the remap increases the sense of instability. The right hand remap is in the back half of the beat, but the left hand has the opposite strength position, which makes this work with humorous interest. Let us take a look at the video. Second, swing. Swing is a style with a very attractive rhythm played by large jazz bands. It has a lot of syncopation and the accent is on the weak beat, recreating a feeling of swing stability, so it's called swing. We're familiar with the style of jazz, which is commonly known as swing 8. It is a common practice to play the two eighth notes of the beat in the front long and back short. In jazz, it is called swing 8. The performance mode and duration are shown in the figure below. Third, triplet. A triplet is a very common tune pattern in jazz. There are quavers, quarter, and half note that change the position of the strings to create a different rhythmic rhythm. Fourth, stride. Stride is one of the styles of jazz piano playing which comes from ragtime. Generally, it occurs in the left hand part, which requires the fingers to play over a long distance and continue to jump, and is responsible for the beat. The right hand, like ragtime, adds syncopation or improvisation to the melody. Fifth, the Bannock, which originated in vocal and guitar blues, is characterized by an ascending or descending 7-tone slide, used in combination with a double note. Moving on, let's now look at how jazz elements are references in modern music. Kapowschilin was not the only composer of 20th century piano composition to use jazz elements. Composers of different periods are constantly trying to innovate, no matter in the creation of themes or music form and vocal, are trying to find new creative inspiration. So jazz music has become one of the creative sources of composers such as Gershwin, Copland, Ravel, Stravinsky, and Shostakovich. Okay, to some of them, there are a few simple jazz elements that can quickly and successfully complete your jazz piano composition. I have told you about the definition and some of its manifestations. Then I talked about the importance of jazz to modern music. Here is my references. That's all for my presentation. Thank you very much for your listening. If you have any questions, I can take care of them right now. Thank you very much.